flesh has been my pillow. I've been waiting for sleep to offer the deep both hands. Okay, hey, Boozhoo, and welcome back to Boozhoo, NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. My name is Michael Lyons, and for absolutely no reason at all, I'm coming on live at 5:39 a.m. I just felt the spirit move me. If you're new to the show, normally this is a puppet show, and later on we'll have NANABOOZHOO and Natasha come on. But I just was I got up this morning and made some coffee, and do what I usually do is come in here and start setting up for the live stream at 7. And lots of times when I'm, putzing around in here, I'll take a little breaks to play guitar or piano or something like that. And one of the things I wanted to share with younger people who might watch this video, remember in 2020, there was this thing going, the COVID whatever, lockdowns or whatever. I had a piano sitting in here for many years, but I never played it. And I've never had piano lessons or just never touched a piano. But when COVID hit, I thought, what the heck? I'm going to spend this time noodling around on the piano. And what I found out is that if you can play guitar, you can kind of play piano. Because guitar players can already have good dexterity in their fingers. So anyway, just thought I would stop in, pull out the piano, and say hello. My live stream is dying on the vine. I don't know what happened in the last 3 or 4 months. I have lost my audience. And, I'm not very conspiracy minded. I mean, yeah, I don't believe in the moon landing, and I don't believe the earth is a spinning globe. And I don't believe the 9/11 story is what they tell us the mainstream story. I do believe in Bigfoot. I don't believe in aliens from other planets, but I do believe in what people call the gray aliens or something. But otherwise, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. Where was I going with this? Conspiracy. Where was I going with this? I'm going to pull out the piano. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Oh, my channel. Nobody's watching the stream anymore. Maybe the idea of teaching Ojibwe with a puppet was just something that was interesting for a little while, and people are kind of sick of it. I mean, let's be honest. 99% of the population is not interested in learning the Ojibwe word for coffee. Muckade mush, kiki wabu. But I've been doing this podcast for years now. Teaching Ojibwe words and phrases, developing these puppet characters, and talking about Ojibwe culture and some of my ideas. And my audience is just, I don't know what happened. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I can't help but feel like maybe YouTube has kind of pulled back the levers or whatever it was. Because when we first started, and I was doing just 3-minute little terribly produced puppet videos that would teach one word, it got shared a lot and lots of likes and stuff. And this summer, it just kind of stopped. So I kind of feel like, well, who cares? I still have this live stream. There's a small group of people we call the Boozhoo crew that tune in from time to time, you know, a couple of dozen people a day. So if you're one of those, it looks like there's one person here. Mino Gigajabe, good morning. And thanks for stopping by and having coffee with me this morning. Today's Ojibwe word of the day. What is it? It is raining. It is raining is our Ojibwe word of the day. And give me one. Give me one. Give me one. It's raining. Let's see. When I used to teach Ojibwe language at a school here. And one of the prompts are, you know, things to make kids kind of remember. This kid brought up, he goes, give me one. It's kind of like rain, you know, when strippers say, make it rain. They're asking, give me $1. Make it rain. Give me one. I was like, okay, if that helps you remember it. Give me one. And here's a little cartoon I drew with a skunk and a fox. Jagag dush wagosh. Jagag skunk and wagosh fox. It is raining, and here a little skunk is pulling out a little bit of rainbow from the not so dark side of the rainy day. And that little fox is in love with the little skunk. Give me one. It is raining. But sometimes some of the stuff we talk about on here, or that I've been talking about a lot, has to do with it is raining, depression. Do you ever feel like it's raining just over your head? Like you're a little skunk sitting in a beautiful world, but you can't appreciate it because it's raining on your head. I think Charlie Brown was the first one to do this cartoon. Charlie Brown walking around with a single rain cloud over his head. Give me one. It is raining. And sometimes it feels like it's raining everywhere. These are sad times in some ways. All right. Name that tune. Black Diamond! Black Diamond! Black Diamond by Kiss. Let's see. This is a nice cheap Yamaha, and you can tune in little different voices. So let's tune in a bass guitar, which is what, 31? Maybe little drums. That's too fast. Yes, the dueling bass and flute. So, what should we talk about this morning? One viewer. And in our headline news today, what's going on? Apparently they attacked Maui. Again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I wonder if the government, people have it wrong. They think there's like an American government and a Russian government, a Chinese government. There's not. There's one world government that runs everything. And they have technology to start fires, obviously. They did it in California. They did it in Canada. And now they've started fires in Hawaii, apparently. And I think I heard a rumor that Oprah Winfrey wants to buy up the land and then traffic people through it, or I don't know. It's horrible. I don't know. Maybe it's that kind of comment, those kind of comments that keep me from. Oh, Jim, you're here. Good. Bonjour, Jim. Mino giga jabe. Jim, I can always count on you. I don't always see the chats when they come in, but yeah. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm obviously a conspiracy theorist. I hate it that people always have to say that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, to make sure that everyone knows I'm on the side with the mainstream, and but I am a conspiracy theorist. Not people take that term to mean, oh yeah, I am paranoid. I believe in wild stories of stupid stuff that can't be proven. All a conspiracy theorist really is, the words mean to conspire is to plan something. And a theory is that you have a theory that somebody planned something. That's all it means. I have a theory that people conspired to build my house. I don't know. I wasn't around when they did it. But that's my theory. I look at the evidence and I go, I'll bet you some guys, more than one, made a plan to build a house right here so that they could rent it for decades and make money. And here I am. Who cares? But people have been programmed to, when somebody comes up with a theory that goes against the mainstream or calls out somebody powerful, they gave him the title, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, meaning we don't have to listen to that guy. Oh, you don't believe that JFK was shot by a lone gunman in a window? You must be a conspiracy theorist. And then we'll just not listen to him anymore. YouTube was great when it first came out, it came out a long time ago, but in around 2016, I would say, my feed anyway was filled with people questioning the main idea of stuff. But then they, I think they've started censoring that, and I'm fascinated by not only conspiracies, not only, I'm fascinated by the truth, I guess, is a thing. I'm not concerned with lies. I'm not interested in being, hey, I found out this thing that nobody else knows. These guys lied about this thing. Mostly, I'm interested in what is the truth. So for a lot of Indian people, when we were kids, and again, we can notice, if you're my age, you notice how the story has changed. But it wasn't the first conspiracy I was into, conspiracy theory. The first conspiracy theory I discovered and got into was Santa Claus. When I learned that they lied about the existence of Santa Claus. But shortly after that, when I was a kid in the early 70s, is when I started school. They had already stopped teaching that Christopher Columbus discovered America. In 1972, that wasn't the real story anymore. The real story was, they used to say Christopher Columbus discovered America. But we know that there were already people here called the Native Americans, only they just called them Indians in those days. So, but this country's so racist and stuff, they didn't even think of Indians as being human beings. Therefore, you know. So my education was always this sort of liberal backtracking, politically correcting of the official story that I never heard because I was too young, that Christopher Columbus was going to prove the earth was round by sailing west and finding a passage to India for spices and, you know, like in the old days, spices. Oh, look, they have salt and pepper in India. Let's go there. But, so that was a conspiracy theory, that history had an agenda to make one group of people look good, but the true history, they told us then, was no, they were actually the bad guys. They came here and they enslaved Indians and, you know, they stole the land and blah, blah, blah. Well, then I started the rabbit hole. Then you go, well, if they lied about the original story, are they lying about the second story? Was Christopher Columbus a real guy? I mean, if the story wasn't true that he was going to prove the earth was round, why do we not believe that part, but we do believe the part that was 1492, which, coincidentally enough, was the year that the first Earth globe was ever created, in 1492. They had maps before 1492, allegedly. That's the story. We have no way of knowing. The story they tell us is that they had maps. We've seen old copies of what looks like maps of the world. But in 1492, that magic year that apparently Columbus sailed the ocean blue and discovered this place, was also the year they invented the idea that we live on a spinning ball. I learned years later, not that long ago, that teaching of the ball earth didn't start until the 1900s. There were many stories in newspapers, especially in England, where teachers were getting in trouble for teaching the ball earth in science class in the 1800s, early 1900s. I remember the last one I saw was 1922, because that was the year my grandmother was born. And a teacher lost her job because she was teaching that the earth was round and not teaching the Bible description of the earth being flat with a firmament or a dome over it. But again, you know, we're stupid and poorly educated. So our education has told us that we just forgot. We just don't talk about anything before the 1900s. And anytime somebody brings up, questions the ball earth, the globe, they'll say something stupid like, oh, we've known that the earth was round since ancient Rome. And you can always tell the person's full of shit if they say we and they speak on behalf of the science community. It's like, we are just human beings. There isn't a we that has discovered stuff and is informing the rest of us. You know, humanity just wakes up and learns stuff. There are teachers, but usually a teacher is spreading disinformation anyway. Whether it's history or science or anything like that. Teachers are the worst. And I'm sorry if you are one. I'm not sorry for offending you. I'm sorry if you are one. So people will speak on behalf. But of course, you couldn't discover what the shape of the earth was until you had technology that could fly that high to be able to look. Or it wasn't until we had rocket technology that they even came up with fake photographs. How about photographs? You know, Our views of history are so stupid and it's so limited. But I'm not going to go through the whole history of the lie of how they fooled us into believing we lived on a spinning ball. I'm probably triggering people even talking about this. And your bones have been my bed frame, and your flesh has been my pillow. I've been waiting for sleep to offer the deep with. Oh, here's a good one. Where is NANABOOZHOO? Where is NANABOOZHOO? Here I am, here I am. How are you today, sir? Very well, I thank you. Run and hide, run and hide. Where is Natasha? Where is Natasha? Here I am, here I am. How are you today? Very well, I thank you. Run and hide, run and hide. Not too bad tickling the ivory. Thanks, man. I'm a total beginner. So, let's see what else is going on today. I might just do a NANABOOZHOO show with NANABOOZHOO and Natasha later tonight. I just keep talking here. Oh, you know what we could talk about? The Mushkiki de Tibicade. The medicine wheel. Jim, I know you already know about this, but this is for the kids. Kids ever hear about the medicine wheel? The Mushkiki de Tibicade? Mushkiki is a medicine. And in the Ojibwe kind of way of thinking about stuff, we call medicines anything that makes you feel better. So like coffee is known as a medicine. Yeah, there's medicinal things about coffee. It helps keep you regular. It'll help you poop first thing in the morning. But love is a medicine. And kindness is a medicine. But the medicine wheel is all about, it's a way of thinking. Yeah, I think it is too early in the morning for most listeners, especially native listeners. Indian people, we're supposed to be up before the sun, remember? I don't understand the modern Indian who stays up all night and then goes to bed at 4 in the morning. That's not our way. We're supposed to be with nature. Go to sleep when when the sun goes down, and you wake up before the sun comes up. You go outside, put out your tobacco, say your prayer, come back in, and have some black medicine water. Modern Native American has everything so backwards. Stay up all night. Yeah, we used to have lots of wives, but we didn't have baby mamas that we never saw. Indian man had many wives and many children and took care of them all. I go to the medicine wheel thanks to you, my friend. Oh, no kidding. All right, cool. Well, here's a little refresher, Jim. So for me, I'll just be honest. I am an emotional wreck. I'm a creative genius, and yet, like a lot of artists, I struggle with mental health I struggle with spiritual crises, and that affects everything else. So the medicine wheel isn't just about the 4 states of being. Medicine wheel represents 4 of everything. In the Ojibwe culture, we think of things like everything is in 4s. There's 4 directions: north, south, east, and west. There are 4 seasons: spring, summer, winter, and fall. There are 4 stages of life: infant, child, adult, elder. Everything is in 4s. But the states of being of the human being can be divided into 4s: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Your physical is just your body, how much you weigh, how tall you are, what you eat, all that stuff. Your physical health. Your mental, and there's also a mental health, are the contents of your brain. What do you think about? Are you preoccupied with, are you like me, and you're heartbroken because Britney Spears and the last guy she married are getting a divorce, you guys? Britney Spears and whoever was her husband of the last year are getting a divorce, and there are rumors that Harry and Meghan Markle are going to break up. These are the things that are in my brain. But what are the things that you think about? Do you think about money? Do you think about relationships? Do you think about your job? What's in your brain? Your emotions are your feelings. Are you happy, sad, scared, angry, whatever those are? And then spiritual is on top of your soul. There are 2 different things. There's your soul and your spirit. What is spiritual are the things that aren't physical, mental, or emotional. Sometimes they'll say, this young man has great spirit for one so small. You can have a lot, your ambitions, your drive, those non-physical things. Love is a spiritual thing. The feeling you get when you hear beautiful music is spiritual. There's a difference between spirit and soul, and I think that might be the other Ojibwe word today. Did I? No, I didn't. Chichag is one's soul. A Manadu is a spirit. Manaduke is spiritual. Manadu, so Gitchi Manadu is the Great Spirit, God. Gitchi Manadu made Jichang, made souls. We are actually a soul in a human body. It's probably incorrect to say in Jichag, my soul, because that suggests I have a soul. I have a body, but I am a soul. My body, was born as an infant, little chubby flesh thing. And it grew and grew and grew and changed, and I look completely different. I realized I am unrecognizable to what I was when I was 14 years old. I ran into a friend I hadn't seen since I was 14 a few years ago. And I didn't recognize him either. We were talking for about 5 minutes before I realized who he was. And I had to say to him, dude, it's me, Michael Lyons. And he had to look and kind of focus his eyes and go, Michael Lyons! Because he didn't recognize me, and that I'd been 20, 30 years, God, it had been 40 years? I'm so old. But, so your body changes. When your body dies, your soul still lives. The soul cannot be... Your soul is perfect. Even when you become a drug addict or fall apart in some way, that's your spirit and your body and your mind that falls apart. Your soul is incorruptible. So, when you're not doing well, like for me, I go through periods, and I hope I'm through with it now, because I just went through a major one. But most of us go through life through going through periods of depression, and then getting out of depression and going back in. It's kind of a roller coaster through life. Torrance, how you doing, Torrance? Welcome to the show. My nighttime are Halverson. Aho, miigwech. Um, Talking about the soul and stuff. So when the medicine wheel, when we're in balance, that's a big thing with the Ojibwe culture, is to be in balance. Lots of New Agers and hippies have kind of co-opted 3 of the 4 sections of the medicine wheel. They'll always talk about, oh, it's all body, mind, and spirit. Body, mind, and spirit. Look, here's a peace sign. Body, mind, and spirit. They're forgetting the soul. So your body is your health. If you're not happy, or you're not living your true life, your bamadiziwan, your debwewin bamadiziyan. Debwewin bamadiziyan is a truthful life. We all have our true walk, the red road, who we're supposed to be. Using our gifts, we're on a path, we all have a mission. And when you're in balance, physically, mentally, and emotionally, and spiritually, you'll know it. You'll feel great. You'll be in touch with God. You'll see the truth. But if any of these 4 areas are like flat, they say the medicine wheel can't roll if any side is flat. So let's say you're physically fit. You went on a diet, you cut out dairy and sugar and alcohol, and you started exercising, and you're at a good weight, and you're doing great. But mentally, you're addicted to porn, you play video games, and you have negative memories of bad stuff that you churn on. You ruminate about your childhood, about how your dad left you or something. Now your mental is flattened. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll give myself a scale of 1 to 10. How am I doing physically? Physically these days I'm at about a 9, 8.5 or a 9. And I don't say 10 just because I'm 56 and I'm not an athlete. But I've been eating really healthy. I'm at a good weight. I've been exercising regularly. I haven't had a drink in 7 years. But I'm a smoker, and so I'm not a 10. If I were an athlete, I'd be a 10. Mentally, I'm getting better, but I'm probably at an 8. I still ruminate. I have some post-traumatic stress from abuse. But, I'm up there. I'm doing good. But maybe you're ruminating about your childhood tragedies or something. Or maybe your brain is just filled. I think there's a lot of people right now, or like, remember when the Trump derangement syndrome thing happened? When Trump and Hillary Clinton were running for president? People lost their minds. They couldn't stop thinking about how much they hated Donald Trump. And also how much they kind of hated that section of society. People who liked Trump. People who weren't mad about what he said about grabbing women. And, there's just a lot of hate and vitriol by people who think they're positive people, like environmentalists. There's a lot of Indian people whose minds are filled with the arguments and the fight against whatever. Whether it's, fighting for equality or fighting against racism, or, your brain can get infected, infested, polluted with negative just ideas. Whether or not they're true doesn't matter. But pay attention, what is in your brain? And if that's not serving you, if it's bringing you down, you can change what you think about. I know for me, when I'm freaking out and I get a lot of anxiety and worry about the future, my conspiracy theories and stuff, I do think there's evil forces plotting to get us. But then I write I don't write anymore, but a gratitude list. I'll be walking around and just start going, okay, number one, what am I grateful for? I still like my house. It's perfect for me. It's not too big. It's not expensive. It's blah, blah, blah. Let's see, I'm healthy. I no longer have Lyme's disease. The pain in my back sorted itself out, whatever. Change your mental thing. So then your physical and your mental will, of course, affect your emotional. These all affect each other. Your emotions might be, fear. Let's say your brain is constantly thinking about Donald Trump and the Republicans burning up the environment with pollution or something. Maybe you're a water walker and you're every day angry about the pollution to the water. Some people just don't know what their emotions are. They never look, but you can see it in their face. They sometimes call it resting bitch face. They're unaware of what their feelings are, so they're unaware of how they express their emotions. But emotions, and of course your emotions will also affect your physical and mental. They play on each other. Your thoughts might make you angry, but then your anger is going to screw up your body chemistry and affect your health. You might get high blood pressure. You might have a heart attack, get an ulcer. Or it also might trigger your mental thing where you're so stressed you just need a drink. So to heck with it, I'm just going to have a drink. Then that mental part affects your physical. Finally, it comes to the spiritual part. Again, spiritual is not physical. It has nothing to do with your body. It's not even your thoughts. Your body and your thoughts will affect the nature of your spirit and your emotions. So picture a Gichida, a warrior, who really believes in the fight, who's just can't, Rocky. So when Rocky was getting ready to fight Apollo Creed, he got into his best physical shape. His mind was there. He just wanted to know, I just want to know if I can go the distance. I'm not just another bum from the neighborhood. And his emotions were all there. I'm getting choked up thinking of Rocky. But that's weird. His spirit then was affected. He had great spirit, triumphant love, glory. It's hard to describe spiritual aspects, but we all know it. When your spirit is vibrating at a high frequency, it's great and it's powerful and it's wonderful. When your spirit is broken, or they'll say, oh, that guy's got an evil spirit, you can have a manji manadug. People aren't born evil. Their souls are pure and perfect. There are no evil babies. But they can corrupt. People are born souls. There's no corrupted souls. But their spirits can be corrupted because of lust and greed and the stuff they put in their brains, their mental. You watch TV your whole life and you think if you get a new car or a hot girlfriend or whatever, you're going to be happy, and then whatever. That can corrupt your spirit. And so now we have a perfect child of God soul with a black spirit, negative physical negative mental, negative emotional. That could be you. That was me. But good news is the whole point of Ojibwe spirituality has nothing to do with honoring the elders. You know, I kind of get the impression actually that pre-Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse, those guys didn't talk about their ancestors the way we do. You know, that they were just living the teachings. But we have to reclaim all the old teachings. But the whole point of learning our cultural teachings and the whole point of learning the language is to help get an insight to some of the old wisdom, is to sort out our lives and sort out ourselves as people, as individuals. We are not just one unimportant part of a large tribe. That's another lie they tried to tell us, that, oh, Indian people, we weren't so individualistic like the white man. We thought of ourselves as one of the community. No, it's crap. Everybody is an individual on a mission. Yeah, there's a community. Some people want to switch out the spiritual, I'm backwards, the spiritual part, and they'll say, no, that part's community. No, it's not. This is all the individual. Now we are part of a community. But I don't know, actually. A lot of people want to separate themselves into certain communities. Well, we are the Ojibwe. We're not the Dakota. Or we're Indians. We're not white people. We're a sovereign nation. We're not even Americans. I think that's all part of the brainwashing they put into our mental whatever to divide and conquer. Truth is, we're all Anishinaabe. There is no word for Indian in Ojibwe. We say Anishinaabe and Chimokuman to distinguish between Indians and white people. But Anishinaabe means human being, and Chimokuman means long knife. Before there were Chimokuman, white people came over with swords. We just called everybody human beings. There'd be the human being, the Anishinaabe from the Dakota tribe, from the Dakota Oyate. So that'd be an Anishinaabe from the Dakota Oyate. It wasn't an Ojibwe guy who lived with the Dakota. It was just a human being. But in modern culture and stuff, we've divided everything into tribalism. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Christian. I'm a blah, blah, blah. And in the end, we get brainwashed into thinking, oh, we're so special. I'm a community member. Okay, here's one more thing, just because nobody's watching. There's one person watching. I've come to believe that there's no such thing as the Native American community. It's not true. There's not even a Native American tribe or tribes. The Leech Lake tribe of Chippewa Indians was a political designation that came up in the 1930s by the U.S. government to list a group. It's not even a racial category. It's a political designation. The Minnesota Chippewa tribe were Ojibwe speakers who lived in this region of Minnesota. Minnesota had already been turned into a state by this time. We're talking the 1900s when they came up, not us, when the U.S. government came up with the term the Minnesota Chippewa tribe. These days, people are walking around feeling proud. I am a Leech Lake tribal member of the Minnesota Chippewa tribe. I'm a sovereign community member, and my leader is tribal chairman Farron, whatever. None of that's real. It's not real. You're not part of a tribe. Even back in the day, they weren't part of tribes. They were, it was too big of a group. You'd have your family and your village. And for 10 months out of the year, you wouldn't see anybody else. Wasn't like, this is why, and again, history is so stupid. Because I talk about how the white man came and warred with the Indians and stole the Indians' land. Like we were one country of 400 different little countries. It's all brainwashing, man. And this has been my list of conspiracies. All right. How long has that been? That's been 47 minutes. I'm just going to call that my strange little live stream for this morning. And a little discussion about the medicine wheel. Anything else I need to show you guys before we go? Probably not. All right. I'm going to head out. Miigwech. Miigwech gabizendawieg. Thank you for listening. Dush miigwech ganawabieg. And thank you for watching. Boozhoo, NANABOOZHOO. Podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. My name is Michael Lyons, and I will see you again. Giga Wabamin Minowa.